A very good afternoon to one and all present here. On behalf of ASFT Amity University Lucknow, I would like to welcome our guest, Ms. Garima Kakkar, speaker for the webinar and interactive session on post-COVID-19 innovations in fashion retail sector. I also welcome our HOD, Professor Pooja Verma ma'am. Ms. Garima Kakkar is a business graduate with over 18 years of experience in communication, personality development, marketing, and training in academics. Over the past decade, she worked across different domains of academics related to retail and communication. She encouraged the students to be innovative, creative, thinking, to prepare and present traditional ideas in marketing. She strongly believed in utilizing the technology available to us for further enhance the two-way learning. She has organized various webinars and interactive sessions and presented various papers at national and international platforms. She is a team member and trainer for UPSDM at Raebareli Fulfillment Center. Also, she has conducted training sessions for various organizations like Aditya Birla Group and many more. Now, I request ma'am to start the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Gitanjali ma'am, for my introduction. Am I audible? Should we use this time? So today's session is a very interesting session and it's a very practical event, whatever we are facing as students, as teachers, as fashion industry people, as retail people. What has this COVID done to our industry and what our industry is doing to cope up with the situations those were imposed to us during COVID, right? So what was this COVID? Can anyone tell me what was this COVID? It was a pandemic. And whenever any system is hit by a pandemic, the system runs into a shutdown. Whenever our systems are run with viruses, our systems, what does our systems do? Shut down. And that's what happened to our industries even. We are actually into fashion industries. If we talk about the students over here are belonging to fashion industry and retail as well, because both comes hand in hand. Whatever we produce, that has to be sold at certain point. Isn't so? Are we artists or are we designers? We are designers, and we are designing for whom? We are designing for consumers. And when this pandemic hit our system, it actually ruined off all the buying capacity of our consumers. The pockets were empty. The pockets, consumers are what? They have the buying power and they buy our products and consume it. When nobody was having the buying power, then where are we going to sell our products? And for whom we are going to produce, right? So what happened? Fashion industry, the fashion shows actually were slowing down. What we did in return? Have you all heard about Sabyasachi? Have you all heard about Gucci?
Yes.
Prada?
Yes.
GNG? They all actually initiated virtual fashion shows because all the brands need buyers to actually buy their products, buy their designs. And for whom they were buying? They were buying for the end consumers. Isn't so? They were buying for the end consumers. And consumer was available only through online mode. Consumers were not there in the shopping malls. They were not there in the streets. They were not there in the fashion galleries. Where they were? Online. They were all sitting back. They can interact now, let them. Right? So they were all sitting back at their home, doing work from home at their leisure spaces, and they were not there in the market. So these designers were approaching them through their digitalized mode of presenting their fashions. Every fashion house were turning online. Not only fashion, but the end retail even was turning online. Those who were sitting up with their stocks, they adopted n number of online modes. They adopted n number of WhatsApp groups. They made groups of their database. Now that database that they were actually noting down from those many years was made to work. N number of groups were made. Insta IDs were made. Reels were made to showcase their products, which were actually kept in their godowns to produce sales and revenues, right? So this was the beginning. This was just the beginning of coping up with the COVID situation for both fashion industry and retail industry. What else that the system innovated with? The system. Have you all heard of Alibaba?
Yes.
No, not Charles, but Alibaba, right? So Alibaba is what? The Amazon of China. Have you all heard of Grofers? Blinkit. So when there was a big hit of people not coming to the grocery stores, they innovated apps through which they were not only approaching their original database, but they were approaching all India. They were circulating this app. They were circulating this app online. They were making this app visible on their store's website. They were making ads to make this app more popular. What Blinkit is doing is 10 minutes delivery. They are making these things, the grocery and the daily use item, the FMCG products and many more. Around 4,000 SKUs are being made available online through their black stores. Black stores are being made in highly populated areas so that this delivery can happen in just 10 minutes. People should not step out of their home and can utilize the power of internet, which they were actually using for work from home to get their groceries at their doorsteps. And this is how this retail industry actually was facing or preparing to face the new era of retailing. In the hand by hand, fashion is also coping up in the same way. Now the boutiques, those were there in the market. What they did, they made their Instagram handlers. They started coming online on Instagram. They started coming online on Facebook. On WhatsApp, they gathered too many of the contacts and circulated their online appearance and made sale out of that. Because they have to support their craftsmen too. Companies, rather than laying off was there, but companies or designers like Sabyasachi, what he did, he shut it down n number of his stores very early to the announcement of pandemic. Very early to the announcement of pandemic, because he actually understood the pulse that was happening in other parts of the world, though it be US, though it be France, though it be China, everything was shutting down. And he actually realized it. It wasn't from one of his interview that he sent all his craftsmen back home, depositing their salaries in their account so that they can just cope up with their situation. So it's not just about fashion. It's not just about retail. It's about our employees too, because they are the actually affected people. If they'll not be having money, enough money, how they will actually buy things, right? So this was also there. So there were n number of ideas among different channels in the world that how to cope up with the situation. Every designer was coming up with different kind of ideas. Everyone was actually hit by this pandemic, and everyone was actually evolving a new idea to survive. Few people, the fashion industry actually stopped producing those party garments and focused more on lounge wears, not luxury, but leisure wears, focusing more on producing the satin and knitted pajamas and t-shirts. The world around us was all into t-shirts and pajamas. So the production line also have actually adapted to what was required in the industry. Companies like Gucci, Armani, Prada started producing sanitizers in their factories where they used to produce perfumes. They learned how to use the resources which were available to them to produce and supply what was actually required in the public at that particular time of pandemic. Fashion houses were producing masks. Fashion houses were utilizing their abilities and their workforces to produce the security gear wares. N number of industries have busy in producing the full apron and garments for the medical people, the doctors. And this was all happening all over the world just to cope up with the situation of this pandemic. What was actually seen was not the birth, but the rise of e-retail all over the world. E-retail was already there. Myntra was already there. Amazon was already there. Jabong was already there. But what happened? Their business increased thousands of folds. Their business was increasing day by day. Overnight, their business was increasing because people were requiring things. They were also into selling sanitizers. They were also selling n number of chemicals. Those were needed to clean the home, to protect ourselves from coronavirus. There was one feature on Myntra that was there pre-pandemic, that was try and buy. That was stopped because now people were much more aware of clothes and other accessories not being sanitized at the centers, and they can be affected by the virus. This was there, and thus many of the services were stopped even. Now, when I was talking about human values, then I told you an example of Sabyasachi, what he did for his craftsmen. He sent their craftsmen back home much before the shutdown was there, much before the lockdown was announced, just calculating pre-handedly that what can happen and what can affect them badly. This was not only the scene with Sabyasachi. It was there with n number of designers, n number of companies. They didn't laid off their craftsmen, they didn't laid off their employees, but they actually paid them a sustainable salary so that they can one day return back home, fulfilling all the medical requirements that were there back home, handling all of them, and then getting back to business, getting back to work. You know, many of the jobs were not there, and this half salary or 1/4 salary was not sustainable enough to cope up with the situation. Housewives started the new phase of retail, producing whatever they know and selling it online, coming online. This was also a very big change of retail industry, because retail was not only about selling branded things now. Retail was about selling whatever you know, whatever you can create and you can sell, because you know your consumers, you have a database, and that database will multiply every day. People knowing that your product is good will be spreading it by word of mouth, and you will be helped by selling your things. Now that is also taking a very big change. Now the retail industry is being run by influencers. We all know what influencing marketing is. Now the marketing is changing its face again. And influencing and social media marketing is there. What is this influencing and social media marketing? People who are interested in trying things and explaining their experiences. They are making reels and videos out of their experience, and these people are having following base of thousands, lakhs and thousands of people. They are watching it. They are again clicking it on the link, that is the buying link of a particular product for which they are doing this video, and people are buying through those links. So this is also changing the retail thing, because it is actually selling the product to the end consumer. Whenever you are clicking on any Instagram link or any influencer's link, you are directly sent to the buying page of a particular product, and you are buying through their link. They will be getting the share of their profit or the share of money that is being promised by the company. That is also retailing, and modern retailing. Present day retailing is this only. What actually increase your business in pandemic? Word of mouth. And that comes from where? From the satisfied customers. Earlier, we were not looking into the customer feedback. We were not looking. But today, whenever we go on any page of buying anything, we first look in how many people have actually purchased it in reality. And then only we will put that product in our cart. This comes from customer feedback, from a genuine customer feedback. There was a very big impact on every brand, and every brand was coming online. This was because, not just because of pandemic, it was because of the effect of the pandemic that it was causing. The company which is owning Zara, the company which is owning or Armani Exchange and all, they were increasing H&M. They were increasing their businesses online. The online businesses, before launching the site, H&M was available on Myntra. After launching the sites of its own, H&M was also visible on Myntra during the pandemic, just to increase their business and to sell whatever being left in their warehouses. Do we think that selling whatever being left in the warehouses is good enough to earn profit or to earn a sustainable income to support ourselves? No, it's not. At that time, people were not requiring, and today also, we don't require what is being designed. We need everything customized. How this customization thing is being read by the fashion designers. It's read through our clicks on our phones. Whenever we click on certain thing, or whenever we put a certain item in our cart in whatever site, that is being recorded by internet, and that is being actually used as a database to develop things or commodities according to your own choice. They are very small design houses came up during pandemic. Those were making very less quantity of certain items. They were not having that much capacity, and that was the requirement of the hour. Not everyone was liking what is being there in the market. Everyone likes the customized product, and that was judged through the data mining process. Our clicks, our likes and dislikes, our cart was studied. And then these designers were actually developing things according to our choices. And those were made available to the customer in the market in very small quantities, so that it should not be left out. N number of brands were modifying their items even. N number of brands were putting modifications in their kept stock, because actually those all were ruined while keeping them back in the warehouses. Humidity was causing loss. Animals were causing loss, rats and all. Fungus was causing loss because of the humid effect of the warehouses. So those items were actually taken out from the warehouses, and those were made available to the public on very huge discounts and with modification on the present item. If slings bags were not needed, then bags were developed without slings. If t-shirts were needed, then tops were made certain modification and they were turned into casual wears. Right? So these were also few of the things that companies, big companies did. N number of, already told you that N number of producers and number of export houses employed their machineries in developing the protective gears, masks of different varieties, clothes of different materials. Now the use of sustainable material also came into fashion, because as I told you, modification was done. Certain things cannot be modified, and those clothes and garments were of total waste. They were recycled and used. They were recycled at various stages and used to produce sustainable garments, to stop the loss that can cause to the economy, because they have put it so much money into it. Sustainability is not a thing which was born after pandemic. Sustainability is something we are working from ages. We are utilizing whatever which is available to us in producing something which is of use. Since we were kids, we were told to use things which were available to produce something useful out of it. And this concept gained gears when we were left with too many things which were not used, which was of no use. Then we have to clear up our spaces. We cannot just dump in all the things and move away. We have to utilize them. Certain companies like Gucci, like our even Indian designers, even Anamika Khanna, Sabyasachi, Manish Malhotra, they are also using sustainable materials to develop their ranges, and they do focus on producing this thing. In the era of pandemic, now also we support many designers looking into the vision that they are carrying forward their business with. If they are helping or supporting any NGOs, we prefer them more. If they are working on sustainability using, which is not being used, we support them more. Somewhere in the mind, we keep this running that, we have to use sustainable materials. I just wanted to quote very recently in the one of the parliamentary session, it was made very visible that our Prime Minister was wearing a jacket, a blue color jacket, which was made through recycling the plastic bottles. And it's a big waste in the ecosystem. We all do study ecosystem also, and we learn how to use what is causing harm to the ecosystem. We can use those materials to develop something productive. So I'd like to add something. I started with telling you that what Grofers is actually doing. This was done in China 5 years back through Alibaba. Alibaba opened these black stores to supply FMCG products and more than thousands and thousands of SKUs, even live fishes and live crabs to people through these black stores. And the same kind of structure was followed by Blinkit. Now this 10 minutes delivery, the new phase of retail which they are developing, that is 10 minutes delivery, whatever you require. If you're falling short of salt even, you can just blink it with one blink of eye. We all are running short of time, and we all are experiencing this era of digitalization. It's like going in our blood. A 5-year-old boy, if you ask a 5-year-old boy that what do you want for your birthday, he will say, I want a Spider-Man. If you will ask him, how will you get it? He'll say, look, I'll make a wish in the night, and that wish will be converted into a product by my mom just shaking her phone in the night. And one uncle will come and deliver that Spider-Man to me in the morning. This is not a dream. This is actually the reality. And these kids are actually understanding the new era of retailing. So what fashion is creating what is being required. And what retailing is delivering whatever is required whenever it is required. So both of the things have actually changed their faces, adopting many ways, hundreds and thousands of ways to cope up with the situation of pandemic. So there, I'm open for the questions of the public. If anyone wants to ask me anything.
Ma'am, there is one question that what are the post-pandemic survival strategies and new innovative business model in fashion retail industry? Please tell us about that.
Look, every fashion industry and retail industry is going hand by hand. It's not one, it's fashion retailing, if we term it as. The models that are being designed to cope up with the situation of pandemic is adapting to the new age technology. Though it be converting your products into 2D and 3D picturization, where you can actually feel the product, not feel the product, but actually you can experience the product, and then reaching out to the customers by turning your database into your actual business. Anything else? Questions? Pooja ma'am, do you have any questions? आपकी कुछ दूसरा question? So, mic is on. I have a question, ma'am. Store-based retailers are facing threats from all directions. What about that? So, ma'am, store-based retailers. During pandemic, we have experienced these brick and mortar shops. The age-old model of brick and mortar shop, the Kirana store, or the garment store from which we were buying from ages. Our parents were buying from ages. They all were having the contact numbers of their clients. And now what they did, they developed certain WhatsApp. For the very first thing that they developed was WhatsApp group to circulate to people whatever was there available at their stores. And not only this, they put it a discount on whatever they were offering. That made some lucrativeness to the product. They offered free delivery, doorstep delivery. They introduced the model of knowing your customer better because they were the only interface that real customer was having. So it was difficult for them because technology is not an easy thing to learn and adapt. But still, they geared up with the thing. Any question you all have, please put down. Raise your hands and then ask. Any questions? Recording in progress. Insta, new age marketing. I have not done anything. So she has missed once connected. Now you can go through. You can ask. Pooja ma'am, do you have any questions or anybody from any participant if they have any questions? Your answer questions on the chat box. You can post the questions in the chat box. Then chat box is open. The chat box is open if anyone wants to put in any questions. I just wanted to share that picture if you can. The sustainable material. I have forwarded you a picture. WhatsApp पे WhatsApp इस पे होगा पर देखिए ऊपर ये ऊपर ओपन है हम स्क्रीन को भी रखते हैं मतलब मैं आपको दिखा रही हूँ प्लीज क्लोज इसको बंद करिए आपको स्क्रीन शेयर
Garima, you have finished your thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Your session is finished.
The presentation part is finished. I'm open for questions.
Acha, tell me now, since the COVID is over and we are back to normal, so now how retail is working?
Ma'am, retail has actually changed its face. The picture is actually changed. If we talk about Lenskart, for an instant, if you talk about Lenskart, Lenskart has induced the technology thing by taking your picture and choose whatever lens you want. Sitting back at home, trying every possible model of the specs and then take it. This is not only with Lenskart. Every retail outlet, means every retail brand has launched this animation kind of thing and interface, the technological interface from the customer. Even Myntra, they are saying try and buy. They have launched this various skin type colors, and the lip colors are being tried on every skin type. You can choose your skin type and then decide. A very latest thing that has come up, there's one advertisement of Anushka Sharma asking for a sunscreen, that I have lost my moisturizer. Now, can I borrow it? No, you cannot borrow mine. Just go to Myntra, load up your skin type, and they will suggest what kind of a moisturizer is suitable for your skin. So this online thing has actually changed every phase of retail industry. So it's not only retail, it's e-retail now.
Yeah. But how about the job? People are losing jobs heavily.
No, ma'am. There are always n number of views when we say that people are losing job. Jobs are available in the market. Different kind of genre jobs are available in the market. Earlier, we were having only jobs for people who can just attend the customers. Now we have jobs for people who can understand the customers. And understanding customers is a very wide thing these days. Understanding customers of every age, every income group, every gender, when we talk about, and every sector, demographically and geographically. And these all things are not done by a single person. Now they have n number of people sitting in the industry and analyzing these data and then developing the report. So jobs are there in the market, but we have to understand what we need to know. And we have to explore things, adapt to technology, adapt to new types of courses. Those are available in the market. Work on sustainable material. Our fashion students are actually working on, but they need to know that working on sustainable material will give them too much of a boost in their career.
There is a question, what is sustainable salary?
Sustainable salary cannot be defined as anything, because our feelings and emotions doesn't have a stop. So whenever you are satisfied, it's sustainable. And it should not be, a sustainable salary should not be there. People should not limit their dreams. They should learn more and earn more.
Right. And then there is one question, how has the pandemic influenced the use of virtual try-on and augmented reality technology in fashion?
Right, ma'am. That's what I was talking about. This augmented technology, the adaptation of this virtual thing, making your product visible in 2D and 3D mode. That's why our courses of fashion and retail are adapting this new module of 2D and 3D technology, so that the students can also learn how to present their products in 2D and 3D mode. Every customer wants to see the packaging, the garment from all the views. Front, back. Earlier, Myntra was having only two options, front and back. Now, Myntra is having videos to every article. Though it be a bag or a bottle, everything is having a video. So everyone wants to see whatever they are buying.
Students, if you have any question, please unmute yourself and ask. Gitanjali, please take over.
Yes, ma'am, there is a question from student. The 2D fashion shows gained the quick popularity in the industry, but now that the pandemic is over, how will it match the quality and authenticity of actual fashion show?
Now, when everything is on, there's a very big factor of travel. There's a very big factor of travel that people are avoiding till date. Not just because of they are being conscious of their health. They are being conscious of their pockets. Now, everyone wants to experience the products from their comfort zone. I'm not talking about people who are very conscious about going in the shop and experiencing the products, but people more than 70% of our population have stopped going offline. Unless and until there's an occasion, or unless and until there is a big event, we avoid going offline. So this 2D and 3D fashion shows, though the pandemic is over, but they are having audience. They are having buyers. Because working from home is not a very easy task. People are being asked to work at every hour, though it be day or night. So they are not having any time to move out.
Ma'am, one more question. There is one more question. How Metaverse is playing its role in retail sector?
The Metaverse is not only playing its role in retail sector. Metaverse has actually taken over the system. Metaverse has actually taken over the system. Whatever we are experiencing through Metaverse only. So we cannot move without it. Everybody needs to know and experience and adapt to it. We have to. Now, digitalization, this metaverse have to be in our blood. As I told you, the example of a 5-year-old kid, they know that they will get it at a blink at this stage. While turning 10, they will know what they have to produce, not only what they have to buy, but what they have to produce for the market. Any more questions? Tell me.
हमारी generation को metaverse के बारे में पता है, हमसे जो younger generation को पता है, but हमसे जो पहले की generation है उसको नहीं पता है, वो इतना ज़्यादा internet पे है भी, उनके लिए
Okay, that's a wonderful question. We know about metaverse, you know about metaverse, our generation earlier to us, but my mother doesn't know about metaverse. So I am an interface to her for metaverse. We'll make them learn, we'll make them experience stage by stage and help them adapt to it. People who were not actually adapted to smartphones, the sale of smartphones have increased by billions and billions in numbers. And this thing is actually introducing metaverse to every home. To every home. It's just the matter of fact that certain people have to be an interface or the middle person to make people understand what we are using. Pooja ma'am, any questions? Any more questions from the audience? Please raise your hands if you have any. You can write in the chat box too. Spray वाला dress. I don't know the spread risk. Tell me.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? Questions are there. What is sustainable salary? Ma'am asked all these questions. Ma'am has actually asked these questions. Pooja ma'am.
Any questions in the
Chat box, any questions?
Acha, one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
These students are taking over the market in few years as a retailer, as a VM and whatever. So what are your suggestions? What do you want to tell them and how they should prepare themselves for the market?
Ma'am, these students must understand that what is being required. As I told you, no, that jobs are there. Jobs are not fewer. Jobs are many and they are increasing even. But now, not only VM is required in a store, but also a person who can align the VM with the mall even. So understanding of everything has been increasing. It's not only the bookish thing that you have to understand. You have to experience the world and generate more ideas towards it. You don't have to sit back with your experience. You have to elaborate your experience in your work. If people are just studying what it's there in the book, it's not enough. You need to know that what is visual merchandising in digital world even. You need to understand what is photography doing for visual merchandising. What is visual merchandising doing for a store? It's not only VM that is increasing the sales. If it is, then you have to understand what kind of a customer is affected by the VM. Not everyone is affected. Then you have to design it accordingly. If you are a salesperson, you have to specialize yourself in knowing what your consumer is stepping in with, where they are actually heading. So it's not only study, it's not only hard work, it's smart work.
Pooja ma'am, is there any more questions? I think there is no more questions in the chat box. All the question has been answered by ma'am.
So Gitanjali, there is no question?
Yes, ma'am. All questions are answered by ma'am.
I think students are satisfied with what all knowledge she has given.
Yes, ma'am.
So well, on that note, we can wind up the session. And thank you so much, Garima, for coming over and interacting with the students. And
Thank you for the opportunity, ma'am. It was a great experience. Thank you for the opportunity.
And I think these students know very well what is expected from them when they move out after their degree, when they go in a market. As you say, they have to be a smart salesperson rather than just
a student. They need to they don't need to study. They need to explore their experiences. That is more important. Express what they know. That is more important.
Right. So thank you so much. And we are on behalf of Amity School of Fashion Technology. I thank you for sparing your time and giving a lecture on such a valid situation which we are facing right now post COVID-19. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.